Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story, which comes from the True Off My Chest subreddit from Decent West 1841 and says, I've been a side chick for 5+ years. Yes, I'm serious. Coming here because I know I absolutely cannot discuss this with anyone in real life. But the title says it all. I've been a side chick for over 5 years. I didn't know he had another girlfriend until about 2.5 years into the relationship. Keep in mind, by this time I was already so deep in love with this man and thought I'd marry him. Lost my V card to him and everything. We met when I was young and he was a bit older, and the effect he had on me was insane. To cut a long story short, I was so in love with him already that I couldn't bear the thought of being without him. So I stayed. Fuck me, I know. She doesn't know about me, but I know about her. His excuse for this whole thing is that he needs to stay with her because he's getting a permanent visa via their relationship, and that once he gets it, he'll leave her and we'll be together. I know this is fucking stupid, but I literally love this man so much I don't know how to leave. But I know I must leave, and I've been slowly building the courage. It's especially hard because I have an insane level of chemistry with him. We're so compatible in every way, besides the fact that he has someone else. He helps me financially and emotionally, and I love being around him and the sex is great. But I know this fucked up situation has to end, and I need to move on. He lives with her too. They own a house and share a bed, but he claims they don't sleep together. I guess what's tipped me over the edge is that I just found out they adopted a dog together. We would always speak about adopting a husky together one day, but he's gone and done it with her behind my back. This relationship was doomed from the start, and I know what I have to do. The thought of living my life without him is almost too painful to think about, but it can't be much worse than crying myself to sleep every night, knowing he's in bed with another woman. And yes, I know I'm a homewrecker and a fucking idiot and a loser, but what else is this sub for? Edit. Added some context in a comment, but thank you all so much. Every one of you has helped me make the decision I know I need to make. Now we can already see that Opie's going down the path of leaving him, and hopefully we're going to see that in the update because that is what needs to happen. This guy has no morals. And there was lots of people down in the comments asking, is it only these two or is there going to be more women involved as well? But the first comment says, he is lying to you. It may be harsh to hear, but he is having sex with her. He is building a life with her. He is a selfish a-hole who is interested in only himself and his own wants. What he is doing is not love. It is not respect. It is not treating you or her with a modicum of consideration or decency. I'm sorry you're in this situation, but you need to get yourself out of it now. You know you should have gotten yourself out of it as soon as you found out you were the other woman. But people are human and imperfect. This relationship is harming you in more ways than you understand right now and will continue to. Get therapy, help yourself. I'm Batgirl says, girl, of course he's sleeping with her. Why wouldn't he if they're basically together and live under the same roof and sleep in the same bed? You're both being played, especially her, because she has no idea you exist. If you want to right this wrong, then you need to come clean to her and tell her everything. Give her the choice to walk away. It's the least you can do for continuing this farce. My Life, My Rules says a man who would betray and treat a significant other that way will do the same to you. There is no line he won't cross. Today it's her, tomorrow it's you. Remember this when you're asking yourself if you want him or if it's worth it. You are not the exception to the rule. He may leave her and be with you, but it's only a matter of time before he does what he did to her to you. I keep repeating this because this is how it will inevitably go. Don't wait for him. Leave and don't look back. Also be better. The minute you found out what he was doing, you should have ended things. Women like you are a part of the problem. KRN says also remember that someone capable of lying so expertly for many years can't be trusted on anything. Not only about the things he says, but the person he projects. You say you are perfectly compatible, but you might have no idea who he really is. I bet if you talk to his wife, you'd find out he's a very different person with her. One that's perfectly compatible with her too. OP left their own comment below this post and says, I've read every response to this post and I want to thank you all. You're saying the things that I've said to myself 1,000 times over now. I know I'm in the wrong, 100%. I didn't come here for sympathy. I came here for honesty and to have some internet strangers confirm what I already knew. I will be leaving him. I've used some of your words in the letter I've written to him. For some context, if anyone cares, I experienced pretty heavy-duty trauma just before I found out I was the other woman. He was very much there for me, and now I realize probably trauma bonded with him. I was 17 when we met, and he was in his early 20s. I don't want to call it grooming because it didn't feel like it, but maybe I'm being ignorant. I guess the whole point of grooming is that you don't know it's happening. This is genuinely not an excuse, but might help to understand why some people stay in situations where they have absolutely no business being in. And for those telling me to tell the other girlfriend, believe me, I want to. But I'm honestly kinda scared of him. Too much to explain here, but I don't doubt he would make my life a living hell if I fucked up his life and chance to stay in this country, or worse. Thank you all, the ones who are kind and the ones who are tough, for giving me the last bit of courage I needed to do this. Opie then updates the post and says, here's an update from yesterday's post. Apologies that it's a long one. Firstly, I really need everyone to know how much you've helped me. I'm not super into Reddit and have no idea how many amazing people are on here to give genuine, great and honest advice. You all really opened my eyes to the truth of the situation. I finally left him. I invited him around because we needed to talk. Now, before I get crucified for this, he has a key to my house. So fucking dumb, I know. So I needed to see him in person to retrieve it. Plus, that selfish part of me wanted to tell him in person just how much he destroyed my self-worth and life in general. I wrote a letter to compose all my thoughts and included a lot of points you guys made in my original post. He took it surprisingly well and actually cried, which I've never seen before. He was upset about my decision but agreed completely that it couldn't continue. He did apologize for his part in this and for the pain he caused me by essentially wasting my time for years. He still stands by the visa story. Who knows if it's real at this point, but there's nothing he could say to get me back. Perhaps it was just more emotional manipulation, but I'll say he seemed sincere. I got my key and blocked him off everything and said we need to go totally no contact. He obviously knows where I live and work, so I needed to be sure to end things somewhat amicably for safety reasons. Now, almost every single comment told me to tell the other girlfriend. Please understand that I absolutely do want to do that, but it's not always that simple. I mentioned this in a comment, but I'm scared of what he may do in retaliation. I don't know if he's a violent person, but he's definitely unpredictable sometimes, and he would likely do his best to ruin my life any way he could if I exposed him. He also has sensitive media of me from my younger days, which I have asked him to delete. He claims he did, but I don't believe it to be honest. Revenge porn recently became a crime where I live, so if he tries it, I'll certainly go the legal route. I'll also be moving in a few months' time and likely getting a different job, so I've kept all the evidence and plan to tell her when I'm in a safer position. I know I'm being a coward here, but I don't know what else to do. A bunch of you also told me to get STD checked because he probably has other side pieces. I naively never thought of this, but I booked the appointment. Let's hope he hasn't fucked my life up even more. As a final note, I want to reiterate that I know that I was completely wrong in my actions once I found out about the other girlfriend. I know I should have walked away. Hopefully someone else can take this as a lesson to never mess around with an older man when you're a teen. He manipulated me to the point where I genuinely believed I couldn't live without him, even until now. I'm still scared of what the future looks like for me, but I will absolutely be getting some therapy. I hope I can come out on the other side of this as a better person, even with the limited hindsight I now have. I'm disgusted by how selfish I was and will never allow myself to make a mistake like this again. Thanks again, Reddit. So many of you shared such loving and kind words, and even the comments that were brutal, you'll help me to see myself clearly, and it was the wake-up call I so desperately needed. Onwards and upwards. Now, you said you was a coward for not telling the girlfriend right away, but absolutely not true in my opinion. Looking after yourself and being safe is absolutely key here. I'm extremely happy to see you're getting some sort of therapy, you're getting checked out as well. And it's refreshing to see when someone's taking responsibility for their own actions in the past and hopefully healing and growing from that. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from Concentrate Unique 739. It does come with an update and is titled, Am I the A-hole for wanting to bring my boyfriend to my family's Christmas celebration? Hi. I had previously a great experience asking for Reddit's help, so I thought I'd come back for more advice on a new situation in my life. I, female 23, have been dating my current boyfriend, male 28, for 4 months, and I am totally smitten. He's the sweetest, smartest, kindest, most caring guy I've ever met, and I feel so lucky to have found him. We met at the start of the new semester at our university. He's a graduate student and was running a tutoring group I joined. I'm a senior getting my bachelor's. We hit it off immediately and found that we had a ton in common, including the same hometown. We have went to the same high school, although we never met previously. He graduated the year before I started my freshman year, but he was in the same grade as my sister. I asked if he knew her and he said yes, they ran in the same circles, but they hadn't kept in touch since graduation. We spent the last 4 months growing super close and we were talking about maybe bringing each other to our family holiday celebrations. We didn't get to do Thanksgiving, but we decided to do Christmas together. I was so excited. I hadn't told my parents or sister I was seeing anyone, so I decided to call and let them know, and also to make sure it wasn't an issue if he came to our Christmas celebration this year. My mum was super excited for me when I told her all about boyfriend, and my dad said he sounded like a nice young man and he would be glad to meet him. I then called my sister and told her the news and even joked that it would be like a high school reunion for her. She was initially excited to meet her new boyfriend, but when I told her who it was, her mood changed dramatically. She told me she would not be comfortable having a stranger at her family's Christmas and that she was sorry but he couldn't come. I was a bit shocked and asked her to explain because she is very outgoing and never had a problem with strangers before. This is the first boyfriend one of us has brought home for the holidays. I asked if she had not liked him in high school or something, and that's why she wouldn't want him to come. She said no, and she barely even remembers him. I asked if she would feel better meeting him before Christmas so it's not overwhelming on the actual holiday. She got really firm and told me that she didn't want to meet him before, during, or after Christmas, and to drop it. She then hung up on me. She texted me a little later that it was rude of me to keep trying to force her to meet someone she doesn't want to. She hopes I won't bring it up again. This makes no sense as my sister is not usually like this. I asked my mum about it, but she is just as confused as I am and said she would talk to her for me. I obviously won't bring my boyfriend if it makes my sister uncomfortable. I just wish she would give me a good reason, especially since she basically said she never wants to meet him. I'm just so confused. Am I the a-hole? Opie then edits the post and says, I talked to my boyfriend last night and he also seemed confused. I asked him to please be honest with me and let me know if anything went on between them beyond just running in the same circles. He told me no, and they only ever hung out in groups. She was really more a friend of a friend, and he had a long-term girlfriend he was committed to throughout high school, so he didn't even hook up with her. She also never bullied him, and from his perspective, he never bullied her. He said they were always friendly/civil, and never so much as got into an argument. He doesn't know what her issue with him is. There's obviously more to this story from my sister's side, so I have to try to speak to her again, probably in a few days when I go home for the holidays. And I guess that was my initial thinking as I was reading through the story, is that, there's either some sort of jealousy going on, something like that, or a bullying story. We've covered stories in the past where a sibling has started dating a bully from their high school or something like that, so brought up, and of course you wouldn't want them to be brought into your home. No one wants their bully to be brought into their safe space, if you like. But then some of the comments started asking questions. So one said, have boyfriends been invited before? Opie says, I could maybe understand more if this was the first time we brought a boy to our family holiday, but it's not. I brought one before and she's brought 4 different guys and will be bringing her boyfriend this year. Another commenter suggests the boyfriend could have been a bully. Opie responds saying, I really hope this isn't the case. My sister never mentioned anything about being bullied in high school. But to be fair, we weren't very close back then because I was in elementary/middle school and she thought I was annoying, lol. If it turned out he bullied her, I would not continue dating him. I can't imagine him as a bully. He's very kind-mannered. But I do understand people aren't always what they seem. My sister would need to express this to me though. Someone suggests bullying or a crush, and Opie says, I'm really hoping it's something small. I wouldn't tolerate a bullying situation or something serious and traumatic. However, I can't see how she should flip out over something insignificant as a crush, and I'm so scared to find out what the issue is. Then there was a bit more information about the whole thing, so Opie says, I more asked my parents my permission and was simply letting my sister know to be polite, but she told me no anyways. It's pretty clear she has an issue with him especially, but she refuses to tell me. I'm going to speak with him tonight when he comes to my apartment. I did speak with my mum, but she's just as confused as me. I'm going to give her space, but we'll try to talk to her again. probably in person when I come home for winter break this week. I probably won't bring my boyfriend if she continues to react negatively. I'm not trying to ruin the holiday for everyone, including my boyfriend. We'll go with him to his family celebration. So then OP comes back with an update and says, "Hi all, I hope this is okay if I post this here. My the A-hole mods denied my update and had quite a few PMs asking me to update here if it happened. I will preface that the situation isn't totally resolved, but people have been asking for more information. So I wanted to let you all know what I now know." On to the update. I got home on Wednesday, went to dinner with my sister and she was acting as if nothing had happened. Finally, I just brought it up and she immediately got upset with me. She told me to just leave it alone. I told her that I have very strong feelings for this man. If she has an issue with him, I would like to know what it is so I can make an informed decision about my relationship. I wouldn't want to be with someone who had hurt my sister or was a bad person. She told me he never hurt her, he didn't bully her, and she simply didn't want a strange man at her family's Christmas. This just pissed me off and I pointed out she's bringing her boyfriend of 7 months. She said it's different because I already met her boyfriend. I told her technically she's already met mine. I offered for them to re-meet before and she shut me down. The conversation really didn't go anywhere productive and we both left mad. That night I ended up messaging my sister's childhood best friend to see if she knew anything about my boyfriend. I played it as, "Did you know my boyfriend in high school?" rather than, "What the fuck is my sister's problem?" She confirmed his name and then asked if my sister knew yet. A red flag went up and I said yes, and she doesn't seem happy. She then asked to call me. A lot of you were right, and it turns out my sister was obsessed with my boyfriend from 7th grade all the way until they graduated and went to college in different states. I asked if there was more to it than that because I can't believe my grown sister would act this way over a little crush. She told me it wasn't a little crush. She was legit in love with him. Since she said in love, I asked if my boyfriend knew or if anything happened between them. She said as far as she knew, he didn't know, and they for sure had never hooked up, to my sister's extreme displeasure. She pined for him for years and was devastated when he started dating one of their other friends freshman year. She would show up to his work with other guys, only go to parties if she knew he was going, hooked up with his best friend to try and make him jealous, and once even tried to break up him and his girlfriend. When my boyfriend and his then girlfriend did eventually break up senior year, my sister thought it was her big moment, but he never even gave her a second glance. Apparently, she's held a small torch for him for all these years still, and her friend says she thinks she would still want to be with him if he would ever have her, and she's probably just jealous. I'm sort of relieved. Some of my comments on my original post had me extra scared for what I was going to find, but now I'm also pissed off. She's really going to ice my boyfriend out of our family events over a high school crush she never even told him about. I do feel for her. It sucks when you really like someone and they don't like you back. I'm upset she wouldn't just tell me and made it into a bigger deal than it needs to be. I'm going to try and talk to her one more time and let her know I know about her crush, and hopefully we can deal with this like adults. Thank you everyone for all your comments and support. And OP adds some additional comments. They started off with, "I'm definitely going to speak with him too and let him know what the actual issue has been. I agree it wasn't love. I don't believe you can be in love with someone without being actually close with them. It was a high intensity infatuation, and she may have fallen in love with the idea of my boyfriend created inside her mind. I'm sure if she can just get past this initial issue she's having, she'll find it's time to let go." Someone says if mum knows, and OP says, "I appreciate the concern. I've spoken to my mum and let her know what I was told. She was going to be going Christmas shopping with my sister sometime this weekend, so she said she could bring it up to her then as well if I wanted her to. I haven't decided if I should talk to sister first or let mum do it, but either way, my parents know the truth and think sister is being overdramatic about her sister trying to break up his previous relationship. It wasn't anything super crazy from what I was told. Just tried to plant some doubt in her friend's head about her relationship with boyfriend. She supposedly didn't make anything up but was just extra hard on him when talking to his then girlfriend in hopes she would end up wanting to leave him. Still wrong, obviously, but nothing like actually dangerous or anything." People make comments about stalking, and OP says, "I don't think it's at the level stalker. I think she fell in love with the idea of a boy she didn't really know that well and just got infatuated. She hasn't tried to contact him and hasn't done anything to try and run into him since they started college, so I'm thinking she's just running off that habit of jealousy she started back in high school." Someone says it could be the sister is embarrassed. OP says, "That's true. I hadn't thought about it from that angle. I've just been so annoyed that she would be so stubborn about this and not even give me the reason. We all did embarrassing things as teenagers, so neither I nor my boyfriend would be in a place to judge her on those past behaviors. It's not like she hurt someone with her crush. She doesn't need to act like an adult now though. I try to be patient in our next conversation and let her know it's not to be embarrassed over. Then about their relationship as sisters. Opie says, I'm a huge advocate for therapy, so I agree, and may have mum suggest it to her. I don't think she would like to hear it suggested from me. My sister and I aren't super close. We get along and meet up when I come back to town, but we're not the best of friends in general. I'm hoping we can maintain a loving and civil relationship because I just don't think her having a crush on my boyfriend over 10 years ago should be something that comes between family, but that will be up to her. I respect the decision so long as she is respectful in return. Now, what do you guys make of this situation? Do you think the sisters will make amends over this? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Much love.